Have you ever wondered how websites and applications actually run on the internet? Do companies buy huge computers or servers and keep them running all the time? Well, they used to. But today, things work very differently. And that's exactly what we are going to understand in this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to ImTechnos. In today's video, we are going to learn what Amazon EC2 is in the simplest way possible. Let's start with a simple situation. Imagine you want to build a website or run an application. Traditionally, you would need to buy a physical server, set it up, keep it running 24/7 and maintain it if something breaks. However, what if your app suddenly get more users? You would need more servers. What if traffic goes down? Now your servers are just sitting idle. So there are a few clear challenges. It's expensive to get started. It's hard to scale. And it's time consuming to manage. Now the question is, how can we get a server instantly, scale it anytime and avoid managing hardware? This is where Amazon EC2 comes in. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. The compute represents a server or a computer. It can be an application server, a database server, or a web server. Cloud means these servers are not physically with you. They are hosted on AWS cloud and can be accessed over the internet. Elastic means flexibility. If configured properly, you can increase or decrease the number of servers automatically based on demand. But in AWS, we don't usually call them servers. We call them instances. These instances are the virtual computing environments that provide scalable compute capacity. You don't need to buy any hardware upfront, and you only pay for what you use. This is called pay-as-you-go pricing. So this VM you see here, this is exactly what EC2 is. In simple terms, EC2 is just a virtual machine in the cloud. You can launch it in minutes, choose how big or small you want it to be, and start or stop it anytime. Let's understand this with a simple example. Think of EC2 like a hotel. You don't build the hotel, you just book a room. You choose small or large rooms. You leave when you are done. Now think about this. When more guests arrive, you book more rooms. And when fewer guests are there, you release the extra rooms. That flexibility is exactly what EC2 gives you. Now let's see how EC2 looks on the console. This is the EC2 Dashboard where you can see all the components or resources. Now let's click on the instances in the left navigation. Here, you can see an instance that I launched earlier. This particular instance has an Apache HTTP server running, which makes it a simple web server. Now think of it like this. Applications like Facebook or Gmail are also hosted on servers. In AWS, we call these virtual servers as EC2 instances. And we access those applications using domain names like facebook.com or gmail.com from our browser. Similarly, you can install any application on your EC2 instance and access it over the internet. For simplicity, I installed a basic Apache web server on the EC2 instance. Now normally, we access applications using a domain name, right? For example, instead of remembering the IP address, we simply type myapp.com in the browser. Behind the scenes, that domain name gets resolved into IP address using DNS. That IP address points to the server, and in our case, it points to the EC2 instance. Once the request reaches the EC2 instance, the application running inside it, which is an Apache web server here, processes the request and prepares the response. That response is sent back through the internet to your browser. And finally, you see the application loaded on your screen. Since we don't have a domain name here, we directly use the public IP address of this instance from the browser to access the application. So let me copy the public IP address of this instance. Open a browser and paste it here. As you can see, the Apache HTTP server page is loaded and it says it works. You can customize this page with your own content or keep the default page as well. So this is a simple example of how an EC2 instance works when you install an application. Now let's look at some of the details of this EC2 instance. As we discussed earlier, EC2 instance is a virtual machine. It's like a computer in the cloud. And whenever you create one, it appears here in the form of instance. As you can see, the instance currently in a running state. That means you are being charged for it as long as it is running. Now, what if you don't need this instance right now? Maybe you want to use it tomorrow or later. In that case, instead of keep it running and paying for it, you can simply stop the instance. Stopping the instance means you are stopping the compute charges. And this is exactly what we mean by pay as you go. Whenever you need it again, you can start the instance, and when you don't need it, you stop it to avoid unnecessary cost. However, keep in mind, if you have storage attached like EBS volumes, you may still be charged for that. But for compute capacity, you won't be charged when the instance is stopped. Now you can access these instances in different ways depending on the operating system. If it is a Linux instance, you typically use SSH. If it's a Windows, you use Remote Desktop. And for Mac, it is also SSH. So based on your requirement, you can choose the operating system you want. The Details tab shows the basic information about your instance. Here you can see instance ID, public IP address, private IP address, instance state, public DNS, and other important information. This is usually the first place we check to understand the current status of the server. It gives a quick summary of the instance configuration. The Status and Alarms tab help you check the health of your EC2 instance. It shows whether AWS system checks and instance checks are passing properly. If something goes wrong, like hardware issues or system failures, it will be shown here. You can also create the CloudWatch alarms to get notified automatically. The Monitoring tab shows the performance of your EC2 instance using graphs. You can see the CPU usage, network traffic, disk activity, and other important metrics. This helps you understand whether your server is busy, idle, or overloaded. It is useful for performance checking and troubleshooting. The Security tabs shows how your EC2 instance is protected. Here you can view the security groups attached to the instance and the IAM role if assigned. Security groups control who can access your server, like allowing SSH or HTTP traffic. This tab helps manage access and permissions safely. The Networking tab shows the network-related settings of your EC2 instance. You can see the VPC, subnet, the private IP address, the public IP address, and network interfaces here. It helps you understand how your server is connected inside AWS and to the internet. This is important for connectivity and communication between the servers. The Storage tab shows the disk attached to the EC2 instance. Usually, this includes EBS volumes that store your operating system, files, and applications. You can check the volume size, the type, and attachment details here. Think of this as a hard disk section of your virtual server. And lastly, Tags tab helps you organize and identify your EC2 instances easily. Tags are simple key value pairs like name is a production server or Apache web server. They are useful when managing multiple resources in AWS. Tags make searching, billing, and resource management much easier. Now, where do we actually use EC2? So there are many common use cases. You can use EC2 to host websites and web applications, making them accessible over the internet. It is also widely used for running backend applications such as APIs, application servers, and processing tasks that support your front-end applications. Developers often use EC2 for testing and learning, where they can quickly launch a server, practice configurations, and test applications without buying physical hardware. And EC2 is also perfect for temporary workloads. If you need a server for just a few hours, you can simply launch it, use it, and stop it when you're done. That flexibility is exactly what makes EC2 such an efficient and reliable solution. So EC2 is a virtual server in AWS and lets you run applications without managing physical hardware. In our hands-on playlist, we will implement this step by step. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and happy learning.